Welcome back, everyone, and a wonderful day to all of you. Today, let's talk about R.K. Narayan's novel, The Guide. The Guide, published in 1958, R.K. Narayan, 1906 2001. R.K. Narayan is one of India's most celebrated novelists, known for his simple yet profound storytelling. The Guide, published in 1958, is one of his most famous works and won the Sahitya Akademi Award in 1960. The novel was later adapted into a highly successful Bollywood film, The Guide 1965, starring Dev Anand. Set in the fictional town of Malgudi, the novel explores themes of love, ambition, transformation, and a spiritual awakening. The protagonist, Raju, undergoes a journey from being a small-town tour guide to a fraudulent spiritual guru, ultimately achieving redemption through an act of self-sacrifice. The novel is unique in its non-linear narrative, alternating between past and present, making it one of Narayan's most complex and layered works. Summary of the work. The story is divided into two parallel timelines: Raju's past as a tour guide and his present as a spiritual guru. Raju's early life as a tour guide. Raju grows up in Malgudi, where his father runs a small railway shop. After his father's death, Raju takes over the shop, but he gradually becomes a tour guide, using his charm and intelligence to impress visitors. He meets Marco, an archaeologist, and his wife Rosie, a passionate dancer. Rosie feels neglected by Marco, who disapproves of her love for classical dance. Raju becomes emotionally and romantically involved with Rosie, encouraging her to pursue dance professionally. Raju and Rosie's relationship. Rosie leaves Marco and starts living with Raju. With Raju's support, Rosie, now taken the name Nalini, becomes a famous dancer. However, as Rosie's fame grows, Raju becomes jealous and controlling. In an attempt to forge Rosie's signature on a legal document, Raju is caught and sent to prison for fraud. Raju's transformation into a spiritual guru. After his release, Raju wanders and reaches a village where the locals mistake him for a holy man. He gradually embraces the role of a spiritual guide, enjoying the villagers' respect. A drought strikes the village, and people believe Raju can bring a rain through fasting. Initially, Raju pretends to fast, but over time he undergoes a spiritual awakening and genuinely commits to it. In the final scene, Raju collapses, whispering that he can feel the rain coming, leaving it ambiguous whether he dies or is truly transformed into a saint. Now let's analyze the characters of this work. First of all, Raju, the protagonist, who evolves from a cunning guide to a selfish lover to an enlightened guru. He represents human weakness, greed, deceit, but also redemption. Next up is the character Rosie or Nalini, a talented classical dancer trapped in an unhappy marriage life. Initially depended on Raju, but later becomes strong and independent. She represents female ambition, artistic passion, and a societal constraints on women. The next character is Marco, Rosie's husband, an arrogant scholar who values archaeology more than his wife. He represents intellectual arrogance and a neglect of emotional relationships. The next character, Valen, a simple villager who first believes Raju to be a saint. His faith in Raju plays a key role in Raju's transformation. Next is Raju's mother, a traditional woman who disapproves of Rosie's presence. She represents conservative Indian values. Now let's talk about the themes in this work. Transformation and redemption. Raju's journey from a selfish conman to a selfless guru is the core of the novel. His ultimate act of fasting becomes a path to redemption. Love, betrayal, and power. Raju and Rosie's relationship is based on passion, but it turns into control and jealousy. Marco and Rosie's marriage represents neglect and incompatibility. Next theme, role of fate versus free will. Raju is caught in situations beyond his control, but his choices shape his destiny. His final act of fasting is the only true selfless decision he makes. Next, we have themes of illusion versus reality. Raju constantly deceives others and himself as a tour guide, as Rosie's manager, and finally as a guru. The line between genuine spirituality and performance is blurred. Social and cultural constraints. The novel explores women's struggles, especially Rosie's journey from suppression to empowerment, and also examines the village's blind faith in Raju, showing how society looks for spiritual leaders in times of crisis. Now let's discuss the setting of the work. The novel is set in Malgudi, a fictional South Indian town where Raju grows up and becomes a tour guide. Rosie's dance world, the urban world of fame, ambition, and a cultural tension. The village, a simple faith-driven rural setting where Raju transforms into a guru. The settings contrast material ambition, that is city life, with a spiritual simplicity, that is village life. Now let's discuss the criticism and interpretations of the work. First of all, the psychological depth of the work. Raju is one of Narayan's most complex characters, undergoing deep psychological changes. Critics appreciated the novel's exploration of human flaws and the possibility of redemption. Feminist reading. Rosie's struggle against male control makes her a progressive female character. Her transformation into a successful dancer challenges traditional gender roles. Spirituality versus hypocrisy. Raju starts as a fake guru, but his transformation raises the question, does spirituality require complete sincerity or can it come through performance? His death, or near death, is left ambiguous, making the ending philosophical rather than religious. Colonial and post-colonial context. The novel reflects India's social transformation after independence. Tradition versus modernity. Rosie's struggle as a dancer. Rural versus urban divide. There is the village as versus Malgudi. The need for leaders, true or false, in times of crisis. film adaptation of the work. The film, titled A Guide, came out in 1965. The Bollywood adaptation, starring Dev Anand and Wahida Rahman, changed the story significantly. It made a Raju more a romantic hero, reducing the novel's moral ambiguity. Despite the changes, the film remains a classic in Indian cinema, especially for its songs and visuals.